This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Good Friday morning. A live look outside as we begin this day. A lot of you will be outdoors today, but we're expecting some pretty dangerous heat out there. We'll check in with Erica Lopez on just how hot it's going to get. And the heated debate over health care turns to chaos on Capitol Hill. Republicans releasing their new plan, but it's not looking like it's going to pass. The GOP members who say they're not voting for it. And you soon won't be able to vape across Austin, places that are now banning e-cigarettes. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak. It is 4:30. I'm Brian Mays. Let's begin with that heat we're talking about. It's going to be a very warm day across Central Texas. Actually, not warm, Erica. Hot.
Hot. That is exactly right. Forecasted highs today in the triple digits. And then we're talking heat index values much more dangerous. It's all clear as of now across Central Texas. Still keeping an eye on Tropical Depression Cindy, bringing in lots of flooding concerns. Flash flood watches in place. Yes, today's hot, but this is going to be our next cool down and rain chances for this weekend, so something to look forward to. But as far as the eastern half of the nation, they are still being devastated by flash flooding concerns. Now, here's what we're talking about for today. A mostly sunny day. Temperatures this morning in the 70s, but our forecasted highs across the entire viewing area, triple-digit temperatures. That's the actual temperature we're going to have on the thermometer this upcoming Friday. Our forecasted high here in Austin, 101 degrees. A mostly sunny day, but it's going to feel closer to 110. It's a day you want to stay cool, stay hydrated, limit your time outside. Always remember to check on your loved ones, any elderly neighbors, and also your children and pets. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thanks. This morning, a mobile home is finally on the move again after it was stuck in a ditch for the past 2 days in Leander. Austin home movers hired to move the mobile home about 4 miles, but the trailer got stuck after some tires fell off. One of its axles snapped in half back on Tuesday. This is on Rock Cliff Road in Leander. Last night, another towing company stepped in to help get the home out of the ditch, finally moved it out of the road as well. Right now, they're not sure if high speeds had anything to do with it getting stuck in the first place. People furious this morning after the Senate health care plan was finally revealed yesterday. Protesters flooding Capitol Hill, where Democrats are angry over the secrecy of how the bill was crafted. Even some Republicans expressing skepticism. ABC's Janae Norman has more on the plan that was drafted behind closed doors.
The Senate Republican health care bill, drawn up in secrecy and kept under lock and key, finally revealed.
Obamacare is a direct attack on the middle class.
But it was met with chaos on Capitol Hill as angry protesters, many in wheelchairs, argued Americans like them are the ones under attack by the new bill.
The government wants to kill me.
President Trump called the House version of the health care bill, quote, mean, but Democrats say the Senate plan is meaner.
The president said the Senate bill needed heart. The way this bill cuts health care is heartless.
Have enough heart, Mr. President?
A little negotiation, but it's going to be very good.
Under the proposed Senate bill, Americans would no longer be required to have health insurance. They could buy coverage with tax credits based on level of income, and some could end up paying a lot more for less. The Senate bill also proposes major cuts to Medicaid, rolling back Obamacare's expansion. Right now, the program covers 1 out of 5 Americans. Wealthy Americans, on the other hand, come out winners. They get sizable tax cuts.
The only reason these cuts to Medicaid are in this bill at all is to pay for tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans.
The Senate bill would also give states the ability to drop the requirement that insurers cover essential services like maternity care, drug and mental health treatment, and emergency room visits. Their bill allows states to opt out of requiring insurance companies to cover those with pre-existing conditions. Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes to pass the bill, and at this point, more than that have said they can't support the plan in its current form. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the mystery is over. Turns out there are no Comey tapes in the White House. President Donald Trump said so himself through tweets yesterday. Last month, he tweeted that the former FBI director better hope there were no tapes of the meetings between himself and James Comey. Now the president confirmed there aren't, saying he does not have any such recordings. Congress has been demanding to know if they existed, and if so, they wanted to listen to them, but they do not exist. Take a look at this. An Amber Alert has been issued for a 15-year-old girl out of West Texas. Police say Stormy Clemmer is missing. She might be with 20-year-old Andrew Akers, the man on the right. He was last seen driving a black Ford Ranger pickup. We don't have the license plate number at this time. Akers was last seen in the town of Alpine. This morning, we know the names of 2 people found dead inside their home, a story we brought you as breaking news back on Wednesday morning. Police responded to a welfare check called at a home in East Austin on Cordell Lane Wednesday. They're investigating this case as a possible murder-suicide. The victims have been identified as Paisley Langmaid and Caleb Harris. Travis County Medical Examiner's Office says they're not clear yet how they died, but they should have answers in a few weeks. The Gerald community on edge because of a high fluoride level in their water, and now other Central Texas cities are worried about their water levels. Here's a list of 45 registered public water sources in Williamson County. Chaparral 3 was flagged for their levels in 2016, and these 4 other sources were all in the mid to high 3 range within the last year. We talked to a chemistry professor at UT who says it's important to keep your eye on these things.
And it's 100% to help our teeth. The problem is that when you have fluoride, anybody who drinks it, whether or not it's a baby or a senior citizen or someone who's sick or just a healthy adult, you can't really control how much fluoride that system is intaking.
Now, some fluoride is good for our dental health, but high levels can be bad for those with bone conditions or infants. So a UT professor says she trusts the EPA and FDA limits. But when your water's close to those levels, make sure and be cautious. E-cigarettes about to be off limits in all places where normal cigarettes are banned. Yesterday, the Austin City Council added vaping to the old ordinance which bans and restricts smoking in all public places, including parks, restaurants, and bars. Yesterday, the Austin City Council added vaping to the old ordinance which bans and restricts smoking in all places, including parks, restaurants, and bars. Even then, e-cigarettes or vaping has become popular. It wasn't included in the ordinance because it wasn't around then. While many people think e-cigarettes are a healthier option, the FDA tested several types and found they have known carcinogens, and many labeled as nicotine-free actually contained nicotine.
Well, we don't know what kinds of chemicals are in vape and whether or not it's safe, and so we want to make sure that everybody has the right to breathe vape-free air and have their lungs protected.
According to the Central Health Department, smoking is the leading cause of preventable death in Travis County. The city's new ordinance will go into effect on Monday, July 3rd. Next week, the Austin ISD School Board will hold a special meeting where they'll discuss the district's bond proposal. We hope to finally learn more about the proposed bond that will go before voters in November. The district wants to stay below the $1 billion mark. Otherwise, they would have to raise taxes. Some projects include a potential new middle school in Northeast Austin, along with 2 other schools. The district is welcoming the public to comment on proposed projects. The meeting's Monday at the Caruth Administration Center. What's left of Tropical Storm Cindy continues to make its way north, causing several flash flood watches. The storm has now been downgraded to a tropical depression. Yesterday, Cindy caused an EF2 tornado in Alabama. Wind speeds around 100 miles an hour, leaving behind serious damage. 12,000 people lost power in the storm.
It was big, guys. It was really big.
We're certainly not out of the woods yet. It's still a long way from being over.
A foot of rain has fallen in spots along the Louisiana, Alabama, and Florida coasts. The flash flood threat continues from Louisiana all the way to Cincinnati. Even the fire ants coming together, devising their own strategy to beat the floodwaters. Let's get a check now of our weather around here. We're talking about severe heat today, Erica Lopez.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Brian, you mentioned a foot of rain. I wanted to talk about these rainfall totals we had because of Cindy. That foot of rain in Mississippi, they had the worst of it. And then us in Texas, Galveston, Eastern Texas had the least of it, close to 3 inches, but not quite there. Still lots of rain going on there, but we have heat in front of that system. Not the flash flooding concerns that are just east of us. Widespread of rain for them, but as far as the heat advisories we have in place, heat alerts, that includes us, Austin. Much of our viewing area, we're under heat advisories today because of the triple-digit temperatures that are forecasted. Here's how it's going to play out. A south wind funneling in not only the heat, but also humidity. So even though your forecasted high is 101 today, it's going to feel closer to 110 degrees. South wind bringing in that humidity, and then keep in mind overnight tonight, not going to get much of a cool down either. We'll have clouds that will be increasing. The humidity still going to stick around, and overnight lows in the mid to upper 70s. So that's what we're tracking for your rush hour forecast. You're in the clear in terms of your morning and afternoon commute. It's just going to be extremely hot out there. And keep in mind that your forecasted UV index is at 10, very, very high. So just remember to reduce your exposure to the sun. But Brian, we just have to get through today because the major cool down's headed our way for this weekend. We're talking 10-degree cool down for some, and also some rain headed our way. I'll chat about that in the full forecast.
Both sound good, Erica. Thank you. A special milestone for one Austin pup. Kermit has become Texas' first grief therapy dog and is now certified to console people during funerals. The 1-year-old successfully passed his evaluation. Kermit's owner says he had to go through extensive training and will now work with the Austin community as a volunteer therapy dog.